Good morning and happy Monday. Today we are going to be talking about forces in motion project. So if you will go to your year view, click forces in motion project, and we are on the checkpoint 4 2A types of forces. So go ahead and open that up. And we're going to be filling in these note takers with definitions, and then we're going to be answering these questions down here today. So we're going to start with force. So make sure that you split your screen. You use Alt bracket, which Alt is down by on the left side of your space bar, and then bracket is up by the P button. So make sure that you are splitting your screen so that it's easier to type the definitions as I'm going through them. But let's just get into it. So a force is a push or a pull acting on an object. Simple enough. A force is a push or a pull acting on an object. Make sure you write that down in the first box, which is right here, force, a push or pull acting on an object. Second word is unbalanced, and we've talked about unbalanced forces. So this is two forces acting on an object that are not equal in size. The object will move, and the net force is always greater than 0 newtons. So in an unbalanced force, something is going to move. Make sure you put that in the unbalanced box. The next word is tension. This is a pulling force through a string, a rope, a chain, or a wire. So if you've ever had a rubber band and you've pulled it between your fingers, that is tension. Okay. If you were to have a rope between you and a sibling, or if you were trying to pull down a tree with a rope, that is tension on the rope. Make sure you put that in the tension box. Magnitude is the size of something. Magnitude is the size of something. Gravity is the force that causes all things to fall toward the earth. What goes up must come down. So gravity keeps us in our chair. Gravity keeps us on the earth so we don't float away. That is gravity. Friction is the force that opposes motion between any surfaces that are touching. Pushing a box across the floor is going to cause friction between the floor and the box. If you're driving, your tires rubbing up against the pavement, that is friction. Air resistance is a force caused by air. The force acts in the opposite direction to an object moving through the air. So if there's a football flying through the air, that football is experiencing air resistance and gravity, because as it's going through the air resistance is trying to slow it down, going over the football. And as it's moving, it's also falling towards the earth because of gravity as well. All right. Make sure you write each of those definitions in the boxes right here. We went over those. If you need to stop the video and pause it for each one, you can. But now let's answer these questions. So we're going to be highlighting the correct answer. Which force can be found in the strings of a tennis racket? Friction, gravity, tension, or air resistance? So tension is something that's, I'm telling you the answer. Friction is something that is rubbing up against something. So if I were rubbing my hands together, that's friction. Gravity is keeping us on the earth. Tension is something pulled tight. And then air resistance is going over an object the opposite direction as it's going in the air. So it's going to be tension, because on a tennis racket, those strings are pulled really tight so that when you hit it, the ball goes flying. So tension is the correct answer. What force keeps you from being squashed into the floor because it balances out gravity? Now, we didn't talk about this type of force, but let's talk through this. So friction, rubbing together, okay, that doesn't keep us from being squashed. Normal just keeps us standing, keeps us, like right now the desk is the normal force holding my laptop up. Tension, we talked about that, is when something is pulled really tight, a string, a rope, a chain. And then air resistance, when a ball is thrown, something is flying through the air, or a car is driving, that air resistance going over the car. It's not keeping us from being squashed. So it's going to be normal force. That's what's keeping us from being squashed down by gravity. Which two forces are going to slow down a moving car? Friction and gravity, friction and air resistance, normal in gravity, tension in air resistance. Again, when the wheels are turning on the pavement, it's going to cause friction. But also, as the car is driving, it's experiencing air resistance because it's driving and that air is trying to slow it down as that air is going over the vehicle. So it's going to be friction and air resistance. All right, number 4. Which force keeps you from floating out of your seat? Friction, gravity keeps us down, tension, pulling tight on a rope or a string, or air resistance, going over a car or a ball. It's going to be gravity. Gravity is what keeps us in our seat. Number 5, which force slows a car and results from the rubbing of tires on a pavement? Friction, gravity keeps us down, tension, or air resistance. It's going to be friction. That word rubbing is really the key to knowing that it is friction that is causing that rubbing the tire on the pavement to slow down. All right. Make sure that you fill in the boxes. Make sure that you have the correct words highlighted, and then you can request feedback in the right-hand corner. Other than that, that is all you have for today. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you later.